everyone. In this video I will give you a comprehensive guide on how to take care for tropidolaemus temple vipers. So let's start talking about enclosure size. A standard 45 by 60 centimeters will do for one large adult female. A 60 by 60 will be even better, or you can keep, like in my case, two subadult females together, or a young couple. Although they don't move much, it doesn't mean that they will not make use of their space. They like to sit at different levels to thermoregulate. They will use the branches to help them shed their skin. And they will generally feel more comfortable. Another option would be a 90 by 90 centimeters, and this is the best one, I would say. I keep my adult couple of wagleri here together, moksha here on the top and hako at the bottom. Keeping their cages elevated will contribute to their well-being, because in nature they stay high up in the canopy most of the year. About temperatures, mine fluctuate between 26 and 31 degrees Celsius. The sweet spot being 28, and the lowest I had them was 24 for a couple of days at night during winter. Humidity, as you can see here, anything between 40 and 80%. But keep in mind that if you have a high humidity, you need very, very good ventilation. Like here in this paludarium, I elevated the top lamps to provide better airflow for them. Make sure that their air quality is good, as they can catch a respiratory infection within hours if you keep them in a poorly ventilated environment. Another common misconception is that they need to stay wet. This is very far from the truth, and it's a quick way to kill them. They don't need to be wet, they need to stay hydrated, and for that I offer them water every 2 to 3 days with a handheld pump sprayer, like in the video here. In nature, they drink rainwater, so offering them water in a water bowl won't do it for them. They may or may not use it, and you can't really take chances with them. I spray mines occasionally, especially when they get closer to shed. Another thing I encourage people to do is using live plants. Don't be lazy. Learn how to make proper naturalistic setups with live plants. It can seem very difficult in the beginning, but if you ask somebody to teach you or follow a guide, it's not that hard in the end, and it's much more rewarding for you and for them, as they feel more comfortable in such environments. I'm gonna show you some plants you can use. This is a pothos plant, and it's the most basic you can find. Very easy to take care for, and very hardy. As you can see, I use it for most of my setups and doesn't require much light. Another fairly easy plant would be this one. Right now it's called Pilea nummularifolia, and as you can see here, it covered the whole bottom of this cage and even went up on the wall a little bit. These plants are called Phytonia, and they require a little bit more knowledge and touch compared to the first two, but they're also not so difficult to get established. Fitonias are also very variable: green, red, pink, and even white. Spider plants are also very easy and very hardy plants you can put at the bottom of your enclosures. Plants of the genus Calathea, like in the clip right now, are more mid-range in terms of difficulty, but they are just so beautiful and they can be very big. They can take a lot of space in the enclosure and really make it lively. Selaginella plants are more advanced as they require daily misting from automatic systems. My next piece of advice is to keep them together. If you buy a couple, keep them together. I often witness them sitting on the top of one another, and if in the beginning they won't like you, at least they will have each other for support. Also, it's more interesting for them to live this way. As long as they have enough space, they will do well. I keep females together all year long, as well as couples, and this year I was successful to breed them in this manner, so it works. Let me now tell you a story. Indigo here doesn't like being picked up. She won't bite me, but rather start feeling blue. Let me explain. Several months ago, I picked her up to give her a bath so she could poop, because I was worried for her as she didn't poop in 4 months and she looked really stuffed. I didn't want to add any food on the top of that. After I put her back, she sat on the floor and didn't try to climb up for 2 weeks. That worried me quite a bit, as it's a clear sign that something wasn't right with her. So I decided to introduce Hickory to her, a slightly older female, and within a day or two, something magical happened. Hickory went down and climbed on the top of Indigo and stayed like that for several hours. Then they both went upstairs and were fine ever since. So I call them sisters, although they are completely unrelated. It is clear to me that they like each other and do well together. As for my last point of their care, it's something that is more about you than the setup you can provide for them. I believe that these snakes are not for everyone. You need to be very sensitive to and with them. They're not snakes that, if they have a problem, they will figure it out. They are like children. You have to take responsibility for them, or they will hurt themselves or die. A more subtle point is that they will do better with a person that doesn't fear them, and that's the main reason I free handle them. I noticed this more times than I can count. If I am afraid, the animal will also be afraid. And that means stress, which with such delicate beings often means death. I actually handle them very occasionally nowadays, as they all feel comfortable around me. I can move my hands freely around their faces, in the cage, touch them, etc. Every person I know that keeps temple vipers has gone through a lot of worrying, so be prepared for that. Also, once you develop a bond with them, don't leave them in the care of someone else for an extended period of time, as their health may deteriorate and they might die. I witnessed this several times with other people, and mine got sick one way or the other after I left them with someone for 1 week or two. If you have no choice, then make sure, feel that the person has the right energy for them. Now, onto a surprise I received from Moksha a month ago. 7 healthy baby wagleri were born. I'm keeping them all together and feeding them live geckos. Most of them already had their second meal. I felt that force feeding or assist feeding would be too stressful on all of us. So I let some free range geckos in the cage. And talking about feeding, I feed my adult temple vipers, rat pups, chicks, chicken or turkey hearts, and adult mice every 30 to 60 days. So, not very often. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And I'll see you in the next video.